Hi, June. How's it going?
Hi, it's going great. Lovely day.
It is a lovely day. You out in California?
Yes, yeah. Where are
We're
you?
I'm in New York, but we're having good,
Ah,
nice fall weather.
good. It's just not so hot here.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. And I'm really glad that you're in awards conversation again, especially after Nebraska. I was such a fan of your work there.
No, I am too. It's lovely that this has happened and that people are thinking this way.
And I can't believe Thelma was your first leading role. I mean, you're a brilliant character actress.
Yeah.
When you first started this business, did you think you would be an action star at 90 some odd years old? Let's be
I
honest.
think I thought, would I still be working at 94 is amazing to me. So I'm thrilled with it all happening.
And it's quite amazing because you're breaking down barriers and defying expectations,
Mhm.
especially with this movie. How does that feel when you look back on your career?
Well, I think I've always broken laws. I did when I was in the theater as well, but I think the whole film career, I started it, I think it was 61. And once I started that career, I just sort of did it. I mean, that was it. I did very little theater after that. It would all just short, so it shifted to film and television, and that's kind of amazing. I think at that age to have your career shift so. But and I have no idea why I'm still working at this age, but I am and still have more to come, I feel.
Absolutely, I think so too. And I mean, I
Yeah.
I love this movie because it has a little bit of everything. Of course, we're touching on the action, but it's sweet, it's funny, and there's a real heart about it. It's giving
Yeah.
a voice to an older generation, which I think is very rare.
I think it is rare. And I think it also gives the younger generation a chance to see the older generation and to really look at it. And I think we're very honest. I mean, I think that people are getting a very honest picture of age.
What resonated with you when you read the script?
Everything. It was a beautiful script. He really wrote a beautiful film script, but just who she was, too. I mean, for me, in terms of looking at it with the idea of, will I do this or not? And I think she's wonderful. I mean, the grit, determination, all those words that you use over and over again, but they're real. They in her, they're real. They really mean something. And I and his humor, because I always like to find humor in whatever I'm doing. The most serious work I've done, I always think I find humor in it, and he did that in his writing. So when I read it, I just felt I have to do this. This is something for me.
Speaking of Josh, I mean, it's based on his grandmother and their
Mhm.
relationship and her phone scam. What kind of conversations did you have with Josh about his grandmother?
Very little, really. I think the script was so concise. I mean, it told you so much about her. He sent me little films, very short little films of her going to the grocery store, having a birthday party, doing different things around the house that he had taken himself. And so those were great because I saw her in action. And she has a tremendous sense of humor, and she's ready and willing to go with anything. I mean, you get that sense about her. And we didn't really sit down and talk about her that much. I think I felt I knew who she was from what he'd written, and then seeing those films just sort of solidified in my mind who she was.
And then within my research for this interview, I realized that you had met her too.
Uh-huh.
How was that experience? I mean, it looked great.
Oh, it really was wonderful because she I could sit there and talk to her about anything. I mean, her mind is great at this point, and her humor is just as spicy as ever. I mean, she's just ready for life. You look at her and she's 104 when I met her, or was going to be. She was 104 in July. I think I met her in just a month or so before that. And she is amazing to me.
What was her reaction to all of those crazy stunts that you did?
She loved the film. I know we didn't talk about the stunts, but she did say there was an interviewer there, and so she told him that June wasn't acting, she was me. She became me. So she was very, she loved it. She really liked the film a lot.
I think that's all you need in terms of seal of approval when you have someone saying.
Yes. Yeah. No, I was so thrilled that she said that.
And in terms of, doing the stunts, were you like immediately on board and wanted to tackle everything or?
Yes, I was much more on board than the director and producers were because they were so frightened I would hurt myself and whether I could just even do some of this stuff. And I felt I could, I felt pretty much I could. And like the scooter, it didn't occur to me that I couldn't drive that scooter. So they let me try, and, I showed that I could. But then if somebody asked me just recently, well, weren't you afraid with Richard behind you? I mean, that is a great responsibility, but I never thought of it like that. I mean, I just always thought, well, hell, I could drive this scooter. So that's what we did. And then the other physical things they let me try, and I managed to do almost all of them.
Which is incredible, and you can tell it that's you. But
Yeah, yes, it is.
what was your favorite stunt scene to film? Was it just riding around with Richard?
I think so. That scooter was fun. That was really fun. And I got so I could stop it really good, like stop it on a dime. They used to kid me and say, June, stop it on a dime, Squibb. But I think there were other things, but like the bed rolls were fun to do. And getting through that antique store, that was hard, but it was fun too at the same time.
That antique store looked very narrow, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, no, and
But
they had it full of things. They had put a lot more in there. And so my path was just minuscule. It really was.
and there's stunts, but there's also the relationship between Thelma and her grandson,
Hmm.
which people I think can relate to the tenderness of that relationship. I certainly can. I was very close with my grandmother. So I was wondering, can you talk a little bit about that relationship and how you formed it with Fred?
The first time we met, Josh brought him here to my apartment, and we were supposed to rehearse, and we never rehearsed. Fred and I just started talking to each other, and I don't think we stopped the whole time he was here. And that sort of is what our relationship was, and we just got stronger and stronger. And now, I mean, we really do think of each other as friends, very close friends. I see him if I'm in New York, and he sees me out here in Los Angeles, and he's somebody that I think will remain in my life now.
That's very sweet. And I think rare too, because you often hear about productions, you feel like a family, and then, everything
That's it.
ends, and that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you never see them again.
Right, right. But that's very sweet.
Yeah, no, we really did have something, a bond between us that was very strong.
You mentioned working with Richard Roundtree. I mean, a legend
Mhm.
in his own right.
Yeah.
How was that experience? I mean, of course, this
Well,
is the last film.
yes, it was. I'm if he had to go when he left us, that I am thrilled that we were there with him on his last film. It was he was so great, such a great guy, wonderful actor. I think a much better actor than people even dreamt he was. And he wanted to do this. And Josh and I have talked about that, and we think it's because he just wanted to show people something, other than Shaft or the other films that he's made. And this gave people could see his soft side, see him, as a family man, and it's something he didn't get a chance to show that often.
And it's wonderful that he did have that opportunity.
Yes, no, he did. And he loved it. And his children told us one of his daughters was living with him at the time that he was shooting it. And she said he just loved doing it. He came home every day and he was just very excited about it.
That's wonderful. Did you trade old Hollywood stories from back in the day with him or
No, I didn't. We talked about our kids. He has five and I have one. And we talked about what we'd done, what we wanted to do, and everything. We didn't talk about Shaft really, or that era, of what he had lived through. Because I wasn't, I mean, my Hollywood days started pretty much after everybody else's. So I wasn't really around that much, through a lot of it.
in addition to Thelma, you also have Inside Out too. It's such a great movie.
Yeah,
How was that experience voicing the voice of nostalgia?
that was fun. I love working for Pixar and I love doing the voiceovers. I just enjoy doing it a lot. And we saw the premiere and it was great. I'm very impressed with the film. And a little girl came up to me one day and started spouting my lines to me. So they're listening.
You know, you've certainly made an impression if a little girl can
Yes.
contain everything and just
Yeah.
right back out.
Right.
And you've done it all in your career. I'm wondering, is there anything that you haven't done that you're really like busting to do?
I think the only thing is a Western. I would love to do a Western. I've never done one. And I've even got a horror film. And I think that's it. Just, to do a film that sort of is set in the West. That would be fun to do.
Is there anyone you would have in mind for a co-lead or
Oh gosh. No, I keep thinking maybe I would end up the saloon keeper or something like that. I'm not picky about it.
that sounds like an exciting job though, saloon keep.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Those wonderful women in the West that have these. I think that would be great.
You would have some stories.
Yes. Yes. And costumes that would be fun to wear.
Yes, absolutely. And finally, before I let you go, I would just want to ask you, how would it feel to be nominated again for Thelma or Inside Out too?
It would be lovely. No, it really would. I enjoyed the last go around a lot. There were some really wonderful moments I still think about. So I know, and I know it's important in the industry. I mean, certainly I would feel recognized in the industry if that did happen. And I would love it. But who knows? I do. I think, thinking sensibly about it. But it's a lovely thing to have happen to you. It really is.
Well, June, I have my fingers crossed, and I've been waiting for this interview since Nebraska. So it
Oh
was
my God.
a joy
Thank
to get to
you.
speak with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I hope you have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You as well in New York.